Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to get the lights right, like kind of get a bit of a shadow on the hat because of this. But, I like wearing caps, so, what else am I supposed to do, right? So what do you think? Yeah, no, I don't really think it works either. No. All right, so anyway, what was I going to talk about today? Oh, yeah, something fairly important. Driving, driving a car. Because you're getting around to that age probably where you're going to start, thinking about getting a license, getting your learner's permit, learning how to drive. I don't know. It's kind of different, I guess, nowadays. Back in the day, this was like a rite of passage. The moment you turned 16, like everyone was like, oh, quick, got to go down and get your learner's permit and start learning how to drive. Though I was a little bit later, I think. But for the most part, everyone, it was like when you turned 16, you wanted to go get your learners. And it wasn't that hard to do. I mean, you just studied a little booklet, and then I think you wrote a multiple choice exam. Just kind of ticked everything on boxes. Yes, it was on paper. That was back before everything was computerized. And then that was it. You got your learners, and then you could drive a car as long as you were with somebody. And then, geez, I don't even remember how long you had to learn with a learner's permit before you could then take the road test, and voila, you got your license. Nowadays, I think it's a little more involved, but hey, whatever, And I don't know. I think I remember reading an article that a lot of teenagers aren't getting their license anymore. They're delaying getting their license for some length of time for whatever reason. I suppose that's fine. It's fine if you live in a city with a really good transit system or a metro system. Then there's not much of a need to have to drive around. But in some parts of North America, I don't know how you would get around without a car. Like, the cities are so spread out. In my mind, I was just thinking like Los Angeles and Atlanta really came to mind. When I visited both, I just couldn't believe how spread out they were, and how inefficient the transit system was. I mean, geez, in LA, to go from central LA to Anaheim or wherever, it took the longest time, even with all those big freeways. Unlike, say, New York City. Manhattan, it's just such a densely populated city that while everyone kind of, rags on about the New York subway and how unclean it is, etc., you got to admit, though, there are stations everywhere. Although that said, I still do prefer the European cities like the Paris Metro, London. I found those to be better. But still, I digress. Driving. Now, I'm not going to talk about like the specifics of driving. I assume you're going to get lessons. I assume you're going to be practicing with people. You don't need to just listen to random people on YouTube like me just kind of talking about, oh, well, here's what you do when driving. Here's what you do, to do this certain thing or that certain thing. I think from my perspective, bearing in mind you're going to have lessons and everything, there's one thing I would like to tell young people about driving. Is that you really have to be, zen. You really have to mellow out. And it sounds easy. Oh yeah, I'll be mellow, whatever. No, you don't get it. Like, have you ever been walking down the street and you've been walking pretty fast, and then suddenly there's a group of people ahead of you and they're just walking slower than you and it's not easy to get around them? Do you know how annoying that is? Like, you just kind of go with these people. That can happen a lot with driving. This sudden sensation of just getting annoyed and angry just because like someone got in front of you while you were driving, or someone's going a bit slower than you even though they might be going the speed limit, or you're trying to be in the fast lane and to get somewhere and someone is ahead of you in the lane and they're slower than you. And these kinds of things can really trigger you. And boy, when I was young, you just like, oh, what's with this fool? Oh, what's with this guy? Come on, man, get moving. And it doesn't help anyone. And in fact, it's just riskier, like weaving between lanes and all this kind of thing. So, I mean, it will take practice. It has taken me time to really try to just get mellow and not worry about other people and not freak out because, you know, someone's driving slower than you or someone's ahead of you driving slower because, oh no, it might take you an extra 20 seconds to get to where you're going. And I just don't know what it is, but when people get behind the wheel, we suddenly just get really impatient with things and we want things to go at the pace we want. So that really is probably my best piece of advice when it comes to driving, is that you really have to try to be mellow. Try not to worry yourself about what other people. Try not to get all wound up in something. If someone is speeding, you know, try not to get too caught up in what other people are doing and let them, you know, just take the consequences of their actions. If someone's speeding, it's none of your business. Really, it's not. It's not your business. Just, you know, try to get into another lane so that they can pass by. Pull off to the side, whatever, if you're feeling really pressured. But, you know, don't just kind of go, oh, I don't know why this guy is speeding, whatever. You don't know. Just try to, who knows, maybe they're like trying to get to a hospital or something. That's what I always try to rationalize in my mind. They're on their way to some emergency. Now, 99% of the time they're not. They're just jerks or whatever. But try to learn not to get caught up with this stuff. If people want to speed, okay, well, that's on them. If people want to weave between lanes and stuff, you know, try to back up and not get anywhere near people like that. Oh, and finally, of course, the rule for the 21st century, put the damn phone down. Put it down. Driving while using your phone, especially glancing, texting and stuff, that is the new drunk of the 21st century. That is the new drunk driving. Seriously. I mean, you'll be driving along and suddenly the guy ahead of you will be kind of slow and weaving a bit. And, you know, 20 years ago, it'd be like, oh, this man's drinking. Oh, this guy's drunk. Now, 99% of the time, oh, this person's on their phone. It's ridiculous. And believe me, you think, oh yeah, I'll just put my phone down. But nope. It will be hard. In fact, I recommend you just turn it off, because the moment that phone rings, your impulse, or because the moment the phone rings, or you get that, you know, that beep that a text or something is coming, you just want to see it. You're just like, and then you start looking. Believe me, you can turn the phone off and turn it back on when you get to your destination. Humanity has survived thousands of years without having a phone and answering a message within a minute. Really, we've managed it. And so can young people today. But it's gonna take practice. Believe me, if you leave the phone on while you're driving, the moment you hear that ping or whatever, you're gonna be all like, oh, okay, let me just take a look while I'm driving. You know, come on. You know, just stop. Just don't do it. I've just seen way too many people they start messing up the road. They're like driving 30 below the speed limit now, kind of weaving slightly. You're not even sure if you should try to pass them in another lane because they're not even paying attention. They start drifting into other lanes. Oh, it's horrible. Just annoying. And you know they're on their phone. You just know it. I guess another piece of advice related to phones is A lot of people, well, okay, if you're at a stoplight or whatever, okay, now's the time to pull out your phone and look at it. And if you are like the first or second person in line, please don't do that. Don't do it. Because you know what inevitably happens? The light turns green and you don't notice. And then you're just sitting there like an idiot for a few seconds because you didn't notice the light turned green. At least if you're like third or fourth or fifth in line, you'll notice through your peripheral vision that the cars are moving, and then you'll like put the phone down and start driving. But if you're first or second, you won't notice. And I have actually witnessed. I've been at a stoplight, and someone was at the the intersection over there, and then the light turned green for them, and they were the only one at the intersection. And because they were on their phone, they didn't notice. And they actually didn't notice the entire time the light was green. It turned back to red while they were still sitting there. Like, it was just so stupid. Like, come on, man, just put the phone down and pay attention. Please don't be one of these people who is in front at the stoplight, and then when it turns green, you're still sitting there and holding everyone else up. Just no. Don't be this person, okay? Just don't be them. I think that's sort of my main advice for young people today for driving. Really practice trying to mellow out. You've got to, if you have a mantra, if you just kind of practice just thinking to yourself, lying to yourself that maybe people are in a rush or whatever, and you're just going to try to stay the course and get out of their way, do it. Do not get caught up in road rage. Do not start getting angry. It will take practice. And the phones. Stop it with the phones. Put the phones down. Turn the phones off. Stop checking your messages while you're driving. Stop checking your messages if you are in the first or second car at a red light. And stop checking phones when you're driving 100 kilometers an hour down a highway. Just don't. Okay, I'm talking about being zen, but telling you, the phones thing just drives me nuts. Really, because it is like being drunk. And then I have to slow down and give these people some space because I don't know what's going to happen next, and I don't want to get all caught up in it. I have been probably in 3 accidents in the last 4 years. None of them were my fault. And at least 2 of them were people on their phone. Like, I'll be at a stoplight and then someone will just hit me. I'll be like literally stopped and suddenly boof, and you're like, what happened? And it's not like it was just me there. It was multi-lanes and everyone was stopped. But nope, some fool checking their messages just hits back of your car. Now, luckily, where I am, the cops have a pretty good system. Basically, if a car hit the back of another car, it's the guy in the back's fault. Because clearly you were tailgating or speeding, you didn't stop in time or whatever. And it's pretty hard to justify why you hit the car in front of you. So their default always is it's the other guy's fault anyway. So that works out. I'm cool with that. Anyway, I hope this sort of initial talk about driving helps. I hope you're excited about driving. It's nerve-wracking to begin with, and it takes a lot of practice. But boy, the freedom of being able to just go somewhere is great. Don't bug your parents for a fancy car. Just get that cheap beater so that then when you scratch it up, clip a wall or whatever, get some dents in it, no one's really going to care. Because then you can spend time kind of getting used to driving. If you get some new car and you're a new driver, there's a good chance you're going to bust the thing up. And then what are you going to do? Just get some beat up old car that no one's going to get too fussed if you put another dent in it here and there. And drive that for the first couple of years till you get comfortable with things. Believe me, that's one less thing to worry about, and one less thing to worry about will help your driving a ton. In fact, anything that helps you not worry will help you driving. So anyway, hope you have a good time. So anyway, thanks for listening. Bye for now.